Yes people, we're back with the road to 10k, turning £1,000 into £10,000 by flipping cars. Now after finally fixing and finally selling those two Subarus, we ended up with just under £7,500 in the bank. Now after scouring Facebook Marketplace, I saw this Audi S3 8L for sale and we picked it up for £2,250, which seems good, but this thing has been off the road since 2017. 9 years it's been sat in a barn. The good thing is it actually came with a bunch of parts in the boot, which probably add up to around 500 quid, so I'm hoping this one might be a quick flip. So today we're going to start pulling this car inside and doing a bunch of work and hoping it actually runs well. Now this is not categorically not going to be like the Subarus. We are not going to be having this car for 6 months, and that's why I bought it. There's nothing properly wrong with it, it's just been sat for so long, so it just needs a bit of a refresh and just make sure everything's working well. So right now, not that I know of, the engine works, the gearbox works, everything kind of works. It just needs a little bit of a tickle back to life. Right, here we go. Let's get this shitbox up in the air. What we're dealing with.
So as we're underneath the front of the car, you can see that definitely this side has been parked in the wetter bit or some point in its life, because this side actually looks pretty good, and on this side it's actually got a new ball joint on the bottom as well, so someone's tried to fix some bits of it. It looks really wet. The oil cooler here, I don't know if that's actually leaking or if that's just where it's been driving through dirt. Now this side looks a lot worse. The hub is pretty surface rusty, but that's like solid steel, so that's not actually going to rot through, so we can clean that up. But this arm is definitely seen better days, so we're definitely going to get a new arm because that looks absolutely horrendous. Now I know the engine and the gearbox look a little bit damp, but there's no actual oil leaks. Maybe it's had a little bit of a weep at one point, or it's not been cleaned off, or there is a weep somewhere, but I can't see anywhere that's actually wet. It just all looks a little bit dirty under there, so we'll clean all that off. Now the good thing is it's actually got the cats on, thank God. Now there's actually like no rust under here as well, which is pretty good. Like even the sills, you can just start to see a little bit where they've crumpled up, where someone's been jacking up from, but it's not rusty at all. I wouldn't class that rusty in any way, shape or form. This side of the car is just a bit dirty. Like look at the trap rod ends, it's just full of dirt. And I think that is genuinely what most of this stuff is under the car. I think it's just dirt. Like, look at the trap rod end, it's just all of it's just covered in dirt. And this side, where it's not been covered in dirt, looks horrendously rusty. So we're going to get a new trap rod end for this side as well. Now coming under the back of the car, it looks a little bit rusty. Now I am used to dealing with rust. That S14 was an absolute rust bucket, and my Subarus were a rust bucket as well, one of them was. So I know the difference between bad rust and rust that looks bad but isn't bad. So this is rust which looks bad but isn't bad. It's just on the arms and on the subframe a little bit, but we're going to start poking around and make sure everything's okay. But if you have a look at the subframe mounting points and everything up here and back there, that's the bad bit. If the actual chassis started rotting through, that's a pain in the ass. So as you can see, the actual chassis is absolutely solid, nice and clean. It's just the arms that have taken a little bit of a battering. So we're going to get a screwdriver and just make sure that they are all actually solid, because most of the time you can actually clean it up. So again, the subframe looks a little bit rusty, but we're going to get a screwdriver and start poking it. Somebody has actually put some new brake lines on there as well. So we've got some new braided lines there, and the hard lines here, the coating started to come off, but the actual lines haven't started rusting through, which is good, so we can clean them up. Same again on this side. We probably caught it just in the right time, to be fair. You can see the coating starting to come off the hard lines. It's actually not started showing the steel lines. But as you can see, the subframe mounting points and the chassis legs all are absolutely solid and not even showing any signs of rust whatsoever. Actually got some new ray drop links as well. The diff there, the Haldex, which we're going to be doing a Haldex oil change on. But it's just the subframe and the arms which look bad. The actual car, body of the car itself, is actually really good, to be honest. So, I'm happy with this. Let's do this timing belt. Oh, we definitely need some new tyres.
Now, as you know, this car came with a ton of parts in the boot, probably around £500 worth of parts in the boot, including a full timing belt kit. But after looking at the car, there's still a lot more things that we need. So let's go and order a bunch of parts, and then let's start fitting the timing belt and all these other stuff.
So we're in bed, and instead of going to sleep, obviously, we're looking for car parts. I went on one of the main sites that everyone goes on, and the arm was £130 for that front arm. And I'm not paying that. So we've come on Autodoc. So we're going to go on suspension arm and let's see the price of the ones on Autodoc. Like the said site I mentioned at the start, they only had one brand, and I know that brand. I'm not a big fan of it. So if we come here, look at all the different brands. So look at all the different brands that Autodoc have got. And obviously I know car parts quite well, so I'm going to choose the brand that I like. So Febi's good. I like Febi, so instantly got the Febi ones there, which is amazing. And look at the price, 50 quid! They were 130 on the other side. Now, I know I said in the last video that I have a timing belt kit from VW, which we do, but annoyingly the belt is out of date. It has a date on the belt and it says 2022, so it's not good to use that belt. Now, everywhere I've looked, I can only get a timing belt kit, but I've already got all the kit, all the water pump and all that, so I kind of just want a new belt. So these are all the belts. They've got hundreds of belts, but I know which brand I want. Dayco, which is this one here. Dayco basically make all the OEM belts for Ford. And if they've got Gates, bang. Like Dayco and Gates, they make all OEM belts, so they are more than good enough. So we've got a Dayco belt there and a Gates belt there. So we've got the choices. We're going to go Dayco because they're pretty much OEM for Ford. 15 quid for the belt. Bosch. We actually have a discount code with Autodoc. So, hang in Lee 5. And there we go. So we've got an extra 5 quid off. 88 quid for a full lower arm with a ball joint and the new timing belt, which is absolute. But also, and a blueprint air filter, because I thought I may as well just get that while I'm here as well.
So honestly, guys, give Autodoc a try. It really helped me out there. Like, I was getting bad brands for high prices, and Autodoc had so many of the brands I actually wanted. And, well, you've seen how much money I saved as well. So they massively helped me out. And the things actually got delivered in like 2 or 3 days, which is contrary to what you would think. So give me a try, guys. There's a code on the screen, and there's a link in the description as well. So the first thing we're going to change is the timing belt. Now, timing belts usually have a life of around 80,000. Oh, okay, thanks. That compressor's shut. I've been waiting for about 20 minutes. Oh, now someone's beeping. Great. This car's been sat for 9 years, which would massively outdo the life of this timing belt on here. And if we run that and that timing chain blows, or timing chain gives up, or belt, sorry, the whole engine is kaput. So first thing foremost is we're going to change this timing belt before even thinking of running this car for an extended period of time. Now, these cars have a bit of a reputation for being a pain to work on, especially anything to do with the clutch or anything to do with the timing belt. So I hope to God we don't have to do both. So we're going to try and remove everything that we can from this side. The timing belt is tucked between the engine and the chassis leg. So we're going to try and remove the overflow tank, the power steering bottle, and anything over this side that's going to limit our access. We're going to try and get it out of the way. Now, even with this out of the way, the coolant tank isn't massively in the way, but what is in the way is the power steering reservoir. This is in the way, but I'm not taking all them lines off. That's going to be a pain. It's going to drop fluid everywhere. We're going to try and work around that and this cable here. We'll try and get that out of the way. But these fuel lines are quite in the way as well, so I'm probably going to take off the fuel lines. If anything, we've got some free cleaner, so great. Now, one thing I'm noticing straight away is all these plastic connectors which were at one point in their life quick disconnects, are not so quick disconnects, and I'm terrified of snapping things. Now, we are going to remove a lot more later because I realise how bad the access is, but for now, I'm just going to pull off the top timing belt cover, and it's just 2 clips around the top of the engine, and there is the timing belt, which doesn't look as bad as I thought it would have done. So the one thing we've got to do is we've actually got to take off the fan belt or the auxiliary belt, and we've also got to take off the auxiliary belt tensioner as well. So it just sits here. You can get a 16mm spanner on that, and then you can pull this down. It's going to release the tension off, and then we should be able to just slide
the belt off. Now we're obviously going to put a new auxiliary belt on as well. Hey mate, we're doing, Gary is here everybody, we're doing a timing belt, Gazza.
Right, okay, so what's the problem then?
Well, I've not got a problem yet, I just thought, you know, if I need some expertise, some Gary expertise,
Alright, okay.
got to take this tensioner off, haven't I? This,
Yeah, take that out. Take this washer bolt, give you a bit more room.
well, I can't bother draining the coolant, Gazza.
Right, okay. Normally I'll clamp this off here, pull this out of the way.
Clamp this out?
Yeah, clamp a pipe on here,
Yeah.
then pull it out of the way so you can get in there, right?
Yeah.
Now, as you can tell, Gary has been doing timing belts on these since the 1700s, so I am going to take his advice and remove the shit that he said to remove. Although I didn't remove the coolant expansion tank because I honestly couldn't be arsed with coolant going everywhere, but this made no sense because I've got to take the water pump out in a bit anyway, so I just made this whole job more difficult for something that was totally unnecessary. Now what I'm taking off here is the auxiliary belt tensioner, as the lower timing belt covers are actually behind this, so this is the first thing you've actually got to remove to be able to access the timing belt. Now since we've now got access to the top half of the timing belt, we need to get access to the bottom half of the timing belt, and that requires removing the bottom pulley, which as you can tell doesn't look healthy, so we're definitely getting a hammer on these 4 Allen keys before even attempting to remove them. Now, however much it looks like you have to remove that centre bolt, you don't. It's just been on there for that long that it's basically rusted itself to the outside of the pulley. So I'm going to try and clean it up as best as I can. Luckily, I knew this beforehand because I would have definitely undone that centre bolt and it probably would have moved the timing belt crank pulley, which is not ideal. And then there's just a bunch of 10mm holding on at the timing belt covers from the bottom and the middle as well.
Take off that lower engine mount bolt right now, because that's the last thing we need to do from underneath the car.
Now the next thing we're going to take off is the engine mount, so we're going to have to support the engine. The best way to do that is underneath with a jack, because you are going to have to lift it up and down. Trust me, it's going to get faffy from now on, lads. We're going to have to move it up and down, so just have it on a jack. Do not use an engine stand at the top, trust me.
So hello to camera, Ellis.
Hello.
Hello.
So here we go, guys, we've got to take off this engine mount, and trust me, it's about to get faffy. Get your popcorn out. Here we go.
Fucking hell. Different size for fucking every single bolt. Oh, that engine's definitely dropping there.
And once you've got your top half of the engine mount out of the way, it's time to go and get your patient, the hat for patient people, which I don't have. But if you've got one, put that on because you're gonna bloody need it.
Sorry about this fucking compressor, guys. It literally won't shut up. So through these 2 holes, I believe there is a couple of bolts which actually bolt it through the engine. So I believe there's going to be one there, and then I think there's one on the other side. Yeah, down there. So it might be a little bit tricky. I'm going to try and jack the engine up as high as possible to get a good access through these. But it could be a 13, could be a 16, could be an 18. I don't fucking know. They've just made the mound up as they've gone through. And when with them bolts out, I'm hoping. Oh, yeah. God, that is a pain. So you've never got them out either, Gary?
No, they're tight. There's not enough room to get them out.
No. No bueno, no bueno.
So after spending a while trying to get this engine mount out of the engine, even talking to Gary and watching another video on YouTube, you can't get them out. And it's slowly dawning on me that this is going to be a pain in the arse.
Annoyingly, this crank pulley doesn't actually have a timing mark on it. I have googled it and none of the pictures are showing a timing mark.
Now usually an engine will have a timing mark on the crank and a timing mark on the cam pulley, so you know when they're all at top dead center. But I've looked all over this engine and there's absolutely nothing on the crank or even on the crank side of the engine. So I'm starting to think, how the hell would you time this engine up? Well, how can you time this engine up?
But it's okay for us because the belt's already on and it is actually running, so we know that if we just mark the top one, the bottom one's going to be the same place. But if you're putting a belt on and you've not already got it preset, how are you going to do it? And I've researched, and you have to look through the bell housing on the flywheel for top dead centre. That is absolutely stupid. So we're not going to do that. We've marked the top at top dead centre. We know that's straight. The car's running. We know it's in time. So we're going to get a paint pen. I'm just going to make our own mark on the crank pulley and on the engine housing, so we know that it's the same relative to the top pulley.
Now with this pushed down just enough, I can just get a socket on the tensioner bolt. Now ideally I want to pull the actual tensioner rod off first, but I can't really get to it and I don't just want to slide the belt off with all that tension on. So I'm hoping taking this off first will release some of the tension and I can get the belt off and then figure out how to get the actual hydraulic tensioner off, you know.
Now this isn't the to-the-book way of doing it, but with that engine mount bracket wedged between the engine and the chassis leg, you can't even get to most of the stuff, so you've got to just try to take everything off that you can physically reach and just hope that engine mount moves as you're going along. It's an absolute nightmare, but nonetheless, we got the belt off.
Now last thing we've got to do is get the hydraulic tensioner off. We've got to get it off to reset that pin. So it's going to be a bit tricky. There's a bolt here through the roller. We've got a new roller because that roller's knackered. So we've got a new roller as well. So we've got to get that off. And there's some on the back side. So this might be really tricky. So you'll see me in a few minutes and you'll know exactly how tricky it was. I can't get to the bolts around this tensioner because of this stupid thing. So the water pump is right there, so we're going to pull the water pump off and that might give me a little bit more room to get this engine mount out the way. So we're going to pull off this water pump. It's 310 mils, one at the bottom, one at the side. We've got a bucket underneath. Not going to drain the coolant, just whatever falls out of there, falls out of there. Might have to get another bucket because I don't know how much is going to come out, but let's send it. And with that water pump out the way, this engine mount sit right at the bottom, which should give us enough room. Well, I can get the top one off. I don't know where the bloody bottom one is. Where's the bloody bottom one?
There's one bolt hiding at the bottom of this tensioner. Right underneath there at the bottom. Horrible little bastard. I got him.
Now I know that changing the actual hydraulic tensioner is good practice on a lot of engines, but this full timing belt kit didn't have one in there, and the guy I watched on YouTube doing this, because I was struggling, didn't actually buy a new tensioner as well. He just wound it in. This is a common thing. Once the tensioners, you just wind them back in with a vise and then pop a pin in, and then you're pretty much good to go. It's a reset tensioner. So maybe it's just not common practice on these engines, but I'm reusing the tensioner because that's what everyone else did that I see.
Now I've lined everything up in order here of how I took it off, because obviously with that engine mount in the way and you've got to move it and faff around, I'm going to put everything back on the exact way that I took it off. So first of all, I'm going to start with that tensioner, then we're going to do the water pump, and then we're going to do the idler for the timing belt, engine mount, timing belt covers, bottom pulley, tensioner, belt.
So first we're going to bolt on our reset tensioner. We've also got a new roller bearing to go on there as well. Now these water pumps are just held in with 3 bolts and an O-ring, so it's very important to clean the surface of the engine. And I'm just starting to do that with some emery cloth and some brake cleaner. Now we have got a brand new VW water pump in the boot, and I did check the date on this and it didn't have a shelf life, it didn't have a end date at all, so it's going to be good to use. We're just going to put a little bit of grease on the O-ring before sliding it back onto the engine and bolting it down.
Now this is the annoying thing. I was meant to lift this engine mount above and then put the water pump on. I've done it the wrong way around, so I can't get this through. So I can take that off again now.
Just like that, my Autodoc parts have arrived. So we've got the new timing belt here, which is my Dayco timing belt. You can sit here and measure every single tooth, but I'm going to trust Autodoc and we're going to bang this belt on. So we've got the air filter there as well, and we've got the Febby lower arm, which we ordered with the ball joints. We're going to be installing that in a minute. So let's just get this timing belt figured up and done. Have a bit of a break because I am sweated. It's so bloody hot. Right, so I'm going to just turn this top cam because it's just knocked itself out of time since I've been playing with it. Oh, that is annoying. It's like right on that bit where the cam just wants to just spring over. Right, we're timed up there. So let's whack the belt on and then let's try and put our new tensioner on, because the tensioner, here we go, we've got a brand new tensioner. And there was a washer on the floor. I'm not quite sure where the washer come from, but this new tensioner has come with the washer. So now I'm aware where that washer came from. So it's going to be a bit fiddly, I'm not going to lie. But I think I'm going to put the belt around the cams first and then try and squeeze this in.
Now this should be an easy task, but if you remember, we have that engine mount just flopping around. So not only have we got to try and get the belt over the cams, over the cam, over the water pump, we've also got to get it between that engine mount bracket. And this was an absolute pain in the ass, and I even had to get Gary's help here.
This is so hard, guys. This is so hard. The belt is so tight that if you've got the tensioner on, you can't get it over the water pump. Or if you've got the water pump on, you can't get the tensioner in. It doesn't help because this engine mount bracket is just floating around in the way, just totally in the way of everything.
This is where I'm sitting. Just can't get it over the water pump. It's very close, but it's too far away. And this is with absolutely zero tension on the tensioner as well. It's a bit worrying, to be fair. It just feels so tight. Now the crank's moved as well. Awesome.
Now to me, it just seemed like the belt was just far too tight considering the tensioner was on nothing. Now I went and got Gary to ask some help, and he was saying that it is usually this tight, and they are an absolute pain in the arse. Now we had to get two of us on this. I had to hold the belt around the crank and I had to pull it off a little bit to give it a little bit more tension, and Gary had to use a bit of a screwdriver and lever it over on the water pump as I was holding it tight around the crank. Not a really nice way to do it, but honestly, we had no choice.
Fucking hell. It's took two of us to get that belt over that water pump. So now we've got to take this bracket off again, so we can tighten the tension and put all that thing on, put the bracket back on again, do all the timing covers, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, what a pain in the
On
ass.
a Wednesday night at the same old spot, spending every dollar I got. 2, 3 shots, won't leave one dry, and a jukebox on lock. She just wanna party all night. We be two-stepping in the back of the dive. I've been down and Jack all night, tending to my keys cause I know I can't drive. Going up north with a
Right, everything is back together. There's a couple of brackets which go around here in my hand. I'm not entirely sure where they go, so I'm going to have to check back my footage and see where they went. But we're going to start the car and see if it runs and see if it's not knocking. It's going to run like shit because the boost pipes are not on. It's going to run a little bit like shit, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for any let's fire it up. Oh, nice. Oh, our camera was rolling. I'm guessing it was just something because we took the fuel rail off. I'm guessing it just had no fuel pressure. So I just primed the fuel pump a couple times.
So now with it actually running, we can fill it up with coolant and make sure that the water pump isn't leaking either.
I know everyone's screaming at me, you've got to change the oil, you've got to change the oil. We're going to change the oil right now. I just wanted to make sure it actually ran before changing all the oil and having to do all that again. So it runs, so we're going to top it up with coolant, put some fresh oil in it. We've got a new oil filter as well, which came with the car. And we're going to be halfway there to having a working S3.
Now doing oil changes is very, very annoying. I hate getting oil everywhere on my hands, having to catch it, clean it up off the floor. It's just a horrible job, especially when you see the location of the oil filter on this damn engine. Now it's actually located right at the front of the engine on an angle above everything, and you've got to take the under trays off just to add more insult to injury.
Now this is one of those cars where they decide to put the oil filter above everything. So obviously the oil goes on everything and it goes on everything. So this is going to be, I'm surprised that came off that easy really. It's going to go all over the lines, all over the boost pipe. It's going to make this a messy job. Ah, for God's sake. I hate doing oil changes. Anything with oil in, nice. Get on there, you.
Oh my god, that is loose. I thought that was spinning.
Look at this. Bloody loose. Look at that. Let's tighten that up.
So before I put the under trays back on, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Just make sure that it is sealing. So I'm going to top it up with oil, get it running. Then we can check for any oil leaks coming from that bit, and we'll check for any water leaks as well. But before we do that, I'm just going to take the air filter out. So we've got a new air filter from Autodoc, so may as well bang it in. Blueprint is OEM for all Asian cars now. So that's Subaru, Kia, I don't know, all them kind of stuff. Blueprint is actually OEM for them kind of stuff. So blueprint filter, bosh. Right, let's see how this Audi does. I feel like a lot of things have been a bit of a pain so far. Let's see how Audi do for the easiest job in the world, an air filter change. Do we even need any tools? Yes, we need a Phillips screwdriver. It's not too bad. We're off to a good start. Phillips screwdriver. I can see people in the comments saying, oh, why don't you put an air filter on it? Why don't you do an intake? No. Modifications ruin cars, people. If it's a tool like a drift car, or like a track car, or a race car, or whatever, then I'm all for modifications. But when it's for road cars, just leave them standard. Honestly, I know probably a lot of people are saying, what the hell, Lee, you spent your whole life modifying cars. I know, that's why I'm telling you to leave them. Because I'm more than experienced in this era. It's got a pipe across one in there, actually. OEM for the win. I'm joking. Pipe across are actually decent filters, but I want to keep this car standard. I feel like if anybody just looks, it just makes it look... Whoa! If anybody looks, I feel like it's just made it look like it's been modified. And modified cars do not sell, you know? So, we're going to put this back to standard. If you want to see me modify shit, I am building an S14 drift car from scratch with a BMW M50 turbo engine in there. So, watch them ones, because I need to do that, because nobody watches the S14 stuff, which is really annoying, because I really enjoy it.
And we can finally get some fresh oil in it. We can get this engine up to temperature for the first time in 9 years.
Well, let it get up temperature, let it bleed. Let's get this, let it get some oil through.
Sorry, you might be doing a clutch lead.
I
wouldn't not do a clutch. It took you long enough to do a cam build.
Mate, that's a release bearing.
Yes, release bearing. Yeah, you put your foot on the clutch and noise disappears.
Do you think this is a bit rusty?
You don't want to do a clutch on this.
I don't want to do a clutch, Darren. Oh no!
Oh dear.
It wasn't doing that originally. So put it in gear. Let's put it in gear, shall we? So what you're hearing, guys, is the release bearing on the clutch. This is not a car you want to be changing a clutch on. Now the clutch feels fine. The clutch isn't high, it's engaging. It might just be a little bit rusty because it's been sat for so long. Fucking hell. That noise better clear up when we take it for a drive. Oh no, it stopped for a minute. It literally stopped for a minute and it's going on.
Now the good news is we've got no oil leaks and no water leaks, which is good, but unfortunately there is a loud squeal coming from the release bearing. Now this is probably where it's been sat for so long. It's either rusty or it's got no lubrication in it at all. Now it might clear up after a drive when it starts moving, but if it doesn't, it's a really big job to get the gearboxes off these cars. and I'm really not looking forward to it if it doesn't clear up.
But we need to change this lower arm. I've got a lower arm from Autodoc, which is here. Beautiful new lower arm with the ball joint. Now, installing arms with the new ball joint is difficult because the ball joints don't really move very well. So we've got 19mm down here. It's a bit rusty. Let's see. Oh, not fucking scared. Don't tell me one thing's actually going to be not a bad job on this Audi. Yeah, I'm off already. What the fuck, man? The ball joint is spinning. So, let's try and jack up on her. Put some pressure on the ball. Hopefully, we'll get it off. Yes. I'm hoping that these aren't captive threads because that's never a fun time. So let's be nice a bit. Oh, okay. Let's be nice for a bit. Let's be nice. That's spinning worryingly easily. Oh no, it's coming. Oh, it's fucking wrecked, boy. Can't tell if that's a cat. I'm so confused why I've got a nut. I think this is a captive nut as well. So it's not a captive nut. Maybe that's why I've got another nut. Was that just the easiest arm change I've ever seen in your life? No way. Fucking Audi for the win, boys. I don't think I've ever seen. I think that's the quickest arm change I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at this rusty boy.
Now the ball joints are adjustable on the end of these, meaning you can move them forward and back, so that will increase or decrease camber. So I've just matched up the new one to the old arm, and I'm going to put them by eye the correct length, which is forwards rather than backwards. Now installing new arms can be a pain, especially if you've got new bushes. If you've got poly bushes, this is even more difficult. But this one, with a little bit of persuasion, was actually not too bad at all. Now usually when you get a new ball joint like this, it's usually strong enough to hold the thread going down, but I think it was getting caught a little bit on the hub, so I did have to get the jack again and jack up the ball joint so I could really tighten that down. But look at the difference after a 50 quid arm on the front.
We've done a timing belt, we've done an oil change, we've done that front arm, they are the biggest bits. Now we've got a load of stuff still in the boot, so this is why this car was pretty much a bargain, because it come with all these spare parts. Not sure what was in there, but something was in there. What's this? So I reckon it came with probably around £400 or £500 worth of parts. So realistically this car cost me 1,500 quid. Bargain. We've done the timing belt, we've done all that kind of stuff. It's going to be good for the next owner. What's next? Fuel filter. Right, let's bosh this out the way. Let's bosh this out the way. Okay, I'm sat here underneath the car thinking, where the hell is this thing? All I can see is rusty subframes, which we're going to fix, don't worry about that. And it's there it is, between the ramp. So let's go back to the boot and let's find the next job. So I have to do that job when we're not on the ramp. Right, what next are we going to plough? We've got some rear brake pads and some rear discs as well, which will change. We need front discs as well, but there's a long story about that. And I'm trying to just avoid it for the time being. We've got a Haldex oil, a Haldex plug, I think that's the drain plug, Haldex oil filter. I think that's for the Haldex. So we've got the Haldex stuff there. Fuel filter, oh, front drop links. Let's do them. Right, these look crusty as hell. Not gonna lie. This might be a Gordon the Grinder job, to be honest. I don't even know what size socket that's meant to be, it's so bloody rusty. It's an 18, let's just try this. Alright. If they snap, I'm not bothered. God's sake. Yeah, it's just spinning. Oh wait lads, I think we're in luck. I think it's got a spanner end. I'm pretty sure, well this side has, which should mean, Yes! Oh. Speed and power.
Smashing out the jobs here, Gazza. Fucking smashing them out, mate. Still an 18. Beautiful. Something's not right there. That can't be right. It's only on about fucking 2 threads. Is it the way around? Gotta be the other way around, right? Oh yeah, that's right. There we go. Fucking send it. Right guys, that's all we got time for today. Look at the state of me. So in the next episode, we're going to finish off those few little jobs. That compressor is going to be the bloody death of me, I swear down. We're battling through it. Next time, we're actually going to be driving this car. We're going to be putting the rear brakes on. We're going to be doing that fuel filter. We're going to be taking it for a drive. Today's been a pain. The timing belt was an absolute pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie, but we've done it. So, in the next video we're going to be driving this damn thing and pray it bloody drives. We still don't know if anything's actually wrong with it. And that release bearing better shut the hell up, I swear to God. That compressor better shut the hell up as well. Absolutely knackered guys, I'm sweating. I've been at this for about 9 hours today, non-stop. So, I've got to go now. So, I love you all. See you in the next video. We're going driving this S3.